Beat with Dr. Benita Zahn.
Welcome. This is National Stress Awareness Month, and boy, do we ever have stress this year. Even as the world begins to reopen, stress hasn't gone away, especially for those providing care for loved ones. So how to cope? The Alzheimer's Foundation of America has crafted 6 points. And Jennifer Reeder, the Director of Educational and Social Services for the AFA, is my guest. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's good to see you. And, you know, you're coming from a busy neck of the woods. You're downstate. We were chatting before we began the official part of the interview. So where you live, how you live, these are all part of looking at your stress package, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of stress living in the city, especially with everything that's been going on with the pandemic. And I can only imagine for caregivers as well.
Yeah. Now, in the 6 points, I love it. It seems so duh, but it's really important. It's be adaptable and positive. What does that look like?
Yeah, so, you know, we don't want it to sound patronizing in any way when we talk about being positive, about setting realistic goals, but it is so important as a caregiver to have that level of flexibility because unfortunately, Alzheimer's disease is not predictable. You are caring for someone's physical health, but there are also behavioral changes, personality changes that you do need to learn to go with the flow in a way without fighting the current that can be very exhausting.
Well, that sounds easier said than done.
Absolutely. It always is.
But so what is it? Is it practice? Is it being able to reach out to someone to help you find your guideposts along the way?
Yeah, so you really do want to be able to first set realistic goals. You know, what is it that you can do for yourself that is sustainable? So you don't want to set yourself up and say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 4 days a week or get mani-pedis every other week. And that's something that you're just not able to do. So for some people that might be simply meditating for 5 minutes in the morning or the evening or sitting in the sun whenever you're able to do that, to just be able to collect your thoughts, be able to be in a place where you can provide that quality of care that you want to provide for your loved one.
And that morphs right into your next point, which is to deal with what you can control.
Yes. So we are unable to control the disease. We're unable to control this pandemic, but we can control the ways that we react. We can control the ways that we interact with our loved one. And sometimes that may mean stepping away. If your loved one is safe, then maybe go into the other room for a minute so that you can breathe and go back and be in that positive place that you want to be for your loved one.
And we talked about setting realistic goals and going slow. You say mind your health.
Yes.
That's a pretty broad topic.
It is. You know, I think as a caregiver, we're always constantly assessing our loved one. How is our loved one's physical health? How is their mental health? How is their emotional health? But that's something that we also need to be paying attention to when it comes to ourselves. Because if we are unable to be there for our loved one, then all we're going to do is give ourselves guilt over that. And so we want to be able to be in a place where we can provide that quality of care that we want to be able to provide.
So does that also mean, you know, looking at your diet and making sure you're getting enough sleep, things of that nature?
Yeah, sleep is so important. Diet is so very important. And yet again, easier said than done. But whenever it is that you can get that quality of sleep that you can get, whenever it is that you can eat a healthy meal, you know, taking advantage of those times. And sometimes that means accepting help. Some people have a hard time accepting help because they feel like they have to do it all. But, you know, that's where help can be there because they can step in at times when you need to take care of yourself.
Well, that goes to really the last point, and we're going to jump around a touch, is to share your feelings. I've heard from many caregivers who feel their friends just no longer want to hear about it, so they close down.
Yeah, that does happen. And, that's where support groups are really great, because support groups are a place where other people are going through similar experiences, and you can feel safe to vent because people will likely understand what it is you're going through. And you can problem solve with one another to come up with solutions that may seem more realistic to you than someone else who isn't going through something that you are. And even at AFA, we have support groups that are via telephone so that people all over the country can participate in our support groups.
Yeah, and you talk about clearing and refreshing your mind, and you mentioned meditating. But I suppose, some people, that word alone just sounds too out there for them. But
Yeah.
It can be as simple as listening to music, can't it?
Music is a wonderful intervention, not only for yourself, but also for your loved one. Music therapy is known to be one of the best types of therapies for people with Alzheimer's disease, because there's that reminiscent component to it. So, music is a wonderful place to be able to escape for a minute and just enjoy the moment. And as I said, sometimes just sitting in the sun, listening to a song can really bring you back to the place that you want to be.
And remember, there's always help, and reach out.
Yes.
Don't go this alone.
Absolutely. And we have our nationwide toll-free helpline that is staffed by all licensed social workers who are there to take your calls about if you need guidance, support, resources. And it's a toll-free number. It's 866-232-8484. And our licensed social workers are available to take calls 7 days a week.
Well, let me repeat it. It's 866-232-8484. And to make life simple, if you didn't have a pen handy, just go to our website where people are watching this, if they're watching the program, at WNYT.com. We're going to set up a link to your website so that you can get services, information, find the hotline, and be able to review all of this. Jennifer Reeder with the American Foundation, the Alzheimer's Foundation of America. All really good points. And really, Jennifer, they're good for all of us to remember, whether we're providing care or not, because ultimately we're providing care for ourselves.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you.
Jennifer Reeder, thanks so very much. Thanks for checking out this edition of HealthBeat. And again, for more info on the AFA and the 6 points, there is a link on the WNYT website. Till next time, stay well.